Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon. You know, Ben, when I think of horse racing, I think of Woodford.
Okay. Are you thinking about horse racing right now?
I am thinking about horse racing right now.
I thought maybe you were thinking of Woodford because, bam, we've got Woodford Reserve. So,
Every time I watch the Kentucky Derby, which is once a year,
yeah.
Woodford just markets the heck out of it.
Well, they're like the official bourbon of the Kentucky
Well,
Derby.
there you go. It makes sense. It's a perfect circle.
Yeah. So anyway, Woodford Reserve, sometimes you gotta just go for a nice classic, you know? And I think that's what Woodford is, for me.
I agree.
It's just one of those, it's not terribly expensive if you buy it at the right place. Some places charge a little over $30 for it.
It's got a nice bottle. It looks good on the shelf, and so some places try to snag people and make them think it's more premium. It's a good bourbon.
It is. And so, yeah, I figured let's do a review of this before I drink my way through this bottle, because this is a good, just a good any evening
Bathtub bourbon.
bathtub bourbon. That works too. I've actually got some Evan Williams Bottled and Bond in my bathtub decanter.
Oh, I'm glad you finished that sentence with the word decanter.
In my bathtub. So, but this one is kind of, I put this on my list of our first ever video, actually, like top 5 for beginners.
That's right.
This is one of those ones that I think works well for a beginner because it's 90.3 proof, I believe, 90.4. But it still kind of holds up even after you're kind of a little further into, getting into maybe some more complex, higher proof stuff.
Yep.
So I think, this one just works really nice for just kind of have a daily pour sort of bourbon. Just,
Ben, not everybody drinks bourbon every day.
doesn't mean you have to drink it every day, but it's a good utility bourbon that you can just kind of have anytime, and I'm never disappointed when I'm drinking Woodford Reserve,
I almost said, are you ever disappointed when you drink any bourbon? But the truth of the matter is,
yes,
we have had an occasional bourbon. And I think usually that's a price to quality mismatch.
Yeah.
And this one, price-wise?
It's 30-ish and under. I think Sam's Club, you get it for like $23 or something, which is ridiculous.
So this is a very good, very high taste, punches above its weight, and lowish price.
Yeah, in flavor, it kind of punches above that 90 proof point.
And it's pretty easy to find. Not everywhere, but pretty common.
Yeah, nice dark, rich flavors. This is a Brown-Forman product. It is kind of that midway point between like a basic bourbon and an Old Forester, which kind of has its own really
style.
Unique flavor profile. This is kind of in the middle of that, I feel.
Yep.
But it's definitely in that direction.
So on the nose, I don't know what on the news would mean. On the nose, I really get brown sugar, not caramel.
Yeah.
Occasionally referred to as caramel.
Not in Minnesota, though. Minnesota say caramel.
Caramel?
Yeah.
It's a 2-syllable word.
Yeah, a lot of sweetness on the nose.
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
All right.
It's not a spice, it has not much of a rye spice, but there's like that barrel spice.
I think it's wood sugar and barrel spice.
Yeah. And I like that, and it's just got, it's not aggressive as far as proof. I don't want to say smooth, but for someone who's looking for something that drinks easy, smooth, it does have that quality to it. That's why I think it's so good for even a beginner or somebody who's kind of already into whiskey. Now, typically, we've said in our videos, we like the 100 proof point is nice. So going below that, it's nice to find one that's a little bit lower if you're not looking for quite as much just alcohol content, but you still want to have all the good flavors.
So I would say this has a significant, back to your point, smooth sometimes is used as a bad word in the bourbon review world because that means it lacks flavor or lacks character.
Yeah.
It's really well balanced. Is what this is.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of different flavor notes, bourbon notes, and they really work well together. And to be honest, the alcohol is a tad low.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if it was a tad higher, but it's okay. This is maybe a starter bourbon.
Yeah.
But there's so many really good flavors that have a lot going on.
And you know, the truth is I was saying, it's kind of leaning into that Old Forester profile.
Yeah.
So I think if you wanted to experience something similar that is at a higher proof, you've got some options with Old Forester stuff.
Well, it's not like Brown-Forman doesn't make a lot of different products.
Yeah, exactly. But these, you know, are really kind of in the same lane.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just a nice, rich, good tasting. Like I was gonna do at Christmas time. Christmas is coming up here next week. Gonna do a flight, like a little whiskey tasting.
Yeah.
And so I'll definitely bring, this will be part of that. It's more of a tasting for people who aren't quite as into bourbon as you and I are.
Yep.
You know, more of like a kind of a beginner
Sure.
intro to different kinds of bourbon sort of flight.
So I just had a thought. You said they sponsor Kentucky Derby, and they do a lot of advertising around mint juleps made with actual Woodford bourbon. Every year, in the summer mostly, it's kind of a summer drink for me, I do make mint juleps at home.
I've never had one.
They're amazing. But I tend to use, whenever I mix a drink, I tend to use whatever bourbon I have that's kind of like either the giant bottle, you call them home wreckers.
Yeah.
Because you're adding sugar, you're adding mint, ice, water. I wonder what a true Woodford mint julep tastes like.
Well, maybe we'll do that in another video.
I think we should.
We'll make some
and,
mint
and,
julep. And I've never
we
had
should.
mint julep, so
They're amazing.
maybe we'll do that.
I think it's a
Let's
good
do
idea.
that on like a Friday night.
Oh, one of our garage.
Well, even
Specials.
so, I was kind of leaning more towards not having to work the next day. If we're gonna make a couple of drinks and,
Well,
you know.
FYI, we occasionally film in another location, in your garage. You have another bar because one is not enough.
Yeah.
And
I really need to get one out on the patio,
yeah,
actually.
and we post those videos first to Patreon. So if you're interested in watching, we'd love to have you subscribe to our Patreon.
Sure.
Thank you so much for
We
that.
just started that.
We did.
Yeah. So,
It's catching on. Thank you so much for our existing subscribers.
yeah. So, but yeah, we should do like a comparative, like a mixed drink
Yeah.
comparative. And like for me, who has never had a mint julep, maybe that would be nice, like lab rat for you to experiment on. You can try different bourbons and, you know, see if I notice the difference.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, but I would really recommend this for someone who's kind of either new or just not into that higher proof stuff. This is a good example of, just like we said before, like just really good flavors that are not at an overly aggressive proof point.
And it really tastes more quality than the price point.
Yeah, I think
Like,
it does too.
It really, really tastes like a good bourbon. There's a lot of different flavors. They're very well balanced. It comes across as a really quality bourbon, and it's available.
Yep.
And that's so important.
Yep, you can buy it anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get yourself some of this. I would imagine anybody who's really into bourbon has probably already had this, but if you're watching this because you're new and you want to just learn about, you know, every kind of bottle you can learn about, which is kind of what I did when I first got into it.
Or you're bored and you just watch bourbon reviews. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're drinking it yourself right now.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, yeah, Woodford Reserve.
Not that I never
good
do
stuff.
that.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, this has been Woodford Reserve on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Cheers.